Awesome. Great. Kyle, it's a pleasure to be connected. Exotix token, bringing cannabis to crypto, my friend. I actually come from that space as we just got done talking about. So, super excited and just want to give you a warm welcome, to our group here, DeFi Angels. The process with this, we really look at a lot of deal flow. So anything that has cannabis or cannabis, that pops up, generally my antennas do raise. Today, those antennas were raised, and hear that we have a big launch coming up tomorrow. So we're looking to learn, a little more about the project, and really, help us make a decision as investors to participate. So first and foremost, welcome to the call. I think it'd be great to get started by, a quick introduction, maybe a little bit about yourself. What's your background? What brought you into crypto, and have you done cannabis before? Just give us a good, general high level understanding of who you are. That'd be helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor. I appreciate it. The whole Exotix team appreciates you guys and for hosting this AMA. Just to give a little background on myself, my name's Kyle Allen. I live in Southern Colorado, and I've been in the cannabis industry for 10 years now, doing a lot of different things from cultivation to extraction to consulting to commercial construction. My hands are kind of in all the pots of cannabis, no pun intended. So with that said, I've been in crypto as well, and I haven't seen many cannabis projects that are actually promising in the space. There's a lot of projects that are doing more of a low level art promotion for cannabis, where I'm trying to take with my project the realism of cannabis into NFTs, into the metaverse, and into crypto itself. To add to that, we've experienced a lot of um, you know, lose ground in crypto lately with projects that come off as being safe and aren't safe. So our entire team will be doxxed. They'll be on the website. They'll be involved. They'll be in AMAs. They'll be on video. And I think that that's a very important piece of our project, as well as the transparency, as well as giving the community what we want to see in crypto as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I can echo a lot of the projects that I have seen that are cannabis related. It's very confusing. Like, what are you doing? Right. And I always come to that, especially the conclusions on them, they all end up in the same, direction. And that's not the direction going up, it's going down after they invest. So it's been a rough road, in terms of cannabis crypto and how that comes to fruition. So with that said, though, the market is very green, in my opinion, and open, especially with regulations that cannabis has been seeing this past year. Obviously the stigma that still sticks around, the banking, it makes sense to make that act with crypto and link the two. One thing that stands out with me at this project is the gaming, bringing in that metaverse, NFT style. I think that is something I haven't actually heard before. So I'm really excited, to hear more about that specifically. But I don't want you just to focus on that. Maybe give me a high level review over the entire project. Really start to finish on, that roadmap, as people say, but how this is going to work. What are the use cases, if any, and all that juice. That's what I want.
Yeah, totally. So we're going to be starting with the NFTs. Now, our NFTs will tie into our metaverse and into our games. Now, with that said, our NFTs are going to be photorealistic 3D NFTs. And what that means is that it on OpenSea or on your screen, it looks like a photo or an actual bud on your screen. What's cool about that is that it's not an easy process to do. It takes over 300 photos compiled in a 3D modeling program to create basically a composite that's laid over a 3D model. So for somebody to try to replicate this, it's not gonna be easy for a competitor to get into this space before us, or even compete with us based on the people we have on board to do this. Now, what's very cool about that is we're going to be doing cannabis, we'll be doing extracts, we'll be doing edibles, we'll be doing living plants. which ties into the metaverse. And we'll be doing glass art, very high-end glass art from glass artists, scientific glass, mostly American made, that people know. So that'll tie in with licensing deals with those artists and brands, that will be officially, their artwork on the blockchain that nobody has done before. So what that ties into with the NFTs is our metaverse and our game. Now, I can't go into too many details about the game, but I can kind of give you a glimpse into the metaverse. So, what we're trying to create with the metaverse is a digital imprint of what you see currently in the industry, from the dispensaries to the grow to the extraction lab to the breeding to everything. And we're trying to tie in the NFTs that we have and that we're making into the metaverse to where they're interactive and what we call grow to earn. And what that means is that you'll be able to take, hypothetically speaking, um, a male plant NFT and a female plant NFT and put it into a breeding room in the metaverse. And what you can then do is you can basically produce another NFT from that, which will be a seed. Now you can take that seed that you've produced and you can put it in the grow room in the metaverse and you can grow to earn. So you basically mint a new NFT off of two NFTs that you have. And that's about as much detail as I can go into right now. But what we have going on is very exciting.
Yeah, no, really cool, and obviously hits home with me. So I mean, so
Can
you're
I say something?
reading online, and then from there, right, you go into the grow room and so forth, and it produces that. So is it kind of like strain related, or these things popping up? Is there any kind of insight you can give us on, what
Yeah.
that? Yeah,
So I've actually, good point. I forgot to mention that every NFT that we have will be strain specific, and it won't just be an artistic model of it. It will be that strain put on the blockchain. So we'll take photos, many, many, many photos of that one nug and that one strain that we know exactly what it is, and it'll be turned into NFT form.
got it. Really cool. Um, and then from there on the token itself, so you're launching that tomorrow, right? So
Yep.
is general, kind of tokenomics behind the project. Do you have those handy?
Yeah. Do you
And
want
what
me to
are they?
go over them now?
Yeah, yeah. If you don't mind, that
Yeah.
would be great.
So, what we've seen in the crypto space lately is that, and especially with the tokens that I've been in, specifically Shinja, the reflections on there were extremely good to start, and that was a big motive for me to stay around, as well as the transparency. So, just to get into the tokenomics a little bit, we have a 1 quadrillion supply. At first, there will be about 420 trillion circulating supply, and we have a 12% buy, sell, and transfer tax. Now, that buy, sell, and transfer tax is split, 3% development expenses, 3% staff payments, and team, but that can be also put towards the project. It's just we have team members that are putting in a lot of work on the front end, and they're not getting free team tokens or anything. So we're trying to pay them for their work moving forward as well.
Right,
And
right.
then
So
there's
that's the tax then, correct? So basically the people on the project are just making money through the tax, but no team tokens, right?
yes, correct.
Cool. Perfect.
Now, there's a 3% marketing wallet, and then there's 3% reflections. So 3% development, 3% marketing, 3% staff, 3% reflections.
Copy that. Thank you. Perfect. Very good. So obviously we're in phase one, right? And I'm looking at the roadmap now. And for the folks maybe listening, they don't have this roadmap in front of them. But these are some really cool things. From what I'm reading here, you're looking obviously to launch the token tomorrow. Fully docs team. That's really just a breath of fresh air in the sector, right? Being able to
Totally.
see and know who you're dealing with, right? Website, all this great stuff. You're already working on CoinGecko, coin market cap listings. Maybe just, help the listeners and myself and our team just walk us through the phases, starting with one, and then how we get, to these later ones and how that plays out, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So the first big thing will be the NFTs. We actually have a more lengthy roadmap, but one of the things that I've seen in the past with other projects is that they release their roadmap and then they bite off more than they can chew or promise more than they can deliver, and they end up dropping the ball. So our whole goal here was to kind of roll out a lot of the more specific details later on in the launch process. So for right now, the roadmap is a lot shorter than it originally was. Just to be very clear, only because we don't want to confuse people, and we also don't want to set ourselves up for failure. So in terms of Q1, that's where we're at right now. Kind of Q4, Q1 2022. We're launching tomorrow. So CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, all of that stuff is very high on our priorities, but we can't do it until we launch, obviously. So the next big thing will be the NFTs. We're going to have an NFT preview released at 1,000 holders. So that might even be tomorrow, depending on the growth. When we will start releasing our NFTs in different drops and batches starting at 10,000 holders. We just want to make sure that the hype is built up and that we've given people enough of a chance to get in before it's basically it's an unfair launch essentially for the NFTs with 1,000 holders, let's just say, versus 10,000.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely copy that. No, really cool. And some of these influencers that you're working with, or maybe people that are notable in the space, can you release any like maybe who those people are, maybe some relationships that you've made there, or is that all going to be a surprise for us?
Yeah, are you talking about in cannabis or in crypto?
Both, either one's fine.
So yeah, I mean, in crypto, we've done a fair amount of promotion so far, and we're working with a fair amount of people. But in cannabis, I mean, my connections are a lot more broad, and I'm very connected with a lot of the industry. So with that said, I can't announce who we're partnered with, but I mean, you'll know soon enough in terms of what's coming out, and you can just be patient.
Definitely patience is a virtue, my friend. And yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at, right? Is who you're working with, because generally, as you know, in cannabis or really any, startup company, it's strategic partnerships, right? At the end of the day, you want to create those, strategic partnerships simply to scale your business a lot better. And to me, it's always going to be good from an investment standpoint to get those strategic investors too, because anybody can just invest any amount of money they want to in a project. But there's a lot of investors probably out there that maybe come from different walks of life or different, avenues, maybe in the same vertical in the cannabis space, that can bring some type of value. So having those people, coming in and investing can always help out as well. So no, this is great. I do have a few questions. In closing though, around just the project and the overview, is there anything that you would like to add?
This is I want to say something that I think we said earlier. This isn't a shit coin. This isn't a meme coin. Our foundation is transparency. We're not coming into this space looking for a quick buck. We're really trying to build something revolutionary here and do something that hasn't been done in this space by combining cannabis and crypto. I think a lot of people look at it as a money grab or something else, but I also want people to be able to look at this project and get a glimpse into what's going on in Colorado and California and all of the recreational states in America right now, because there are a fair amount of people who have no idea what high quality cannabis looks like because they haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. And as the industry becomes more mainstream, I think it's brilliant to be moving into that direction. Simply because, cannabis has many miles behind it than it does just ahead of us. Now simply we've came a long way, for lack of better terms. I mean, we've, if you were there in the beginning for where it is now, you have big pharma, big tobacco, big everything already, really penetrating the industry. So from an investment standpoint, right, I really do feel that sentiment there, because I look for advantageous opportunities where I can maybe get that 50x again. Because back in the day, those were cannabis investments, right? Like when you were in 2014 to like 2017, practically, everything we did, like Tokyo Smoke, Medmen, when they were, going around. I mean, all these different, deals in the private stages from a VC and, private equity standpoint, we were getting, great multiples. And then as the industry started to mature, we've seen that downtrend in terms of our multiples and how long it would take to get an ROI. So I think personally, when you're bringing in crypto and you combine that with the cannabis, it's a mixture for better multiples. It's something that hasn't been done. And I'm really excited to, see how this plays out. And, to that point, you said that you're going to be working with a lot of these, cannabis folks, and I'm moving into my questions now, by the way. But I'm curious. As the project in the business is what I'll call it, because essentially this is what this is going to be, is a business. So with this business, these is when you work with these outside partners, right? And they're doing, anything say related to the token, and they're coming in. Are you going to be developing, maybe streams of revenue with actual cannabis businesses that can benefit your liquidity pool? Is that okay?
Yes. So it's kind of tough right now in terms of talking about dispensaries and how to give access to people or discounts or other things across the U.S. Because the laws and the rules and regulations and the businesses are all different state to state. So our goal long term. I kind of touched on licensing a bit, but licensing is going to be a huge part of this business. Exotics, that is, and specifically for the NFTs. So we want to bring different collections of NFTs. So if we partnered with, let's say, MedMen, and we put their entire line of genetics and what they offer at their dispensary in a MedMen collection in NFTs, they could also collect a royalty from that. And then promote it in their stores, and do certain things that would make it unique, especially for this space. You could also do. I don't really want to get into this, but I will. Something we were thinking about and that we're working on doing is connecting NFTs to physical products. So speaking of MedMen, if they're selling their packaged flower, we could have a deal with them that our NFTs are included, or one NFT is included with a special line of flower that they put out, or packaged flower, or something that's specifically branded with Exotix, times MedMen, for example. So that's something we're working on as well, is tying NFTs to the physical world and to physical products through licensing deals.
Yeah. And which is totally endless in the cannabis space. That's genius. I mean, you think about it, I actually do licensing deals. I work with some of the major MSOs still to this day in the United States, and that's exactly what we do, is just licensing deals. That's all
Yeah,
we do.
so you get what we're thinking about here. I mean, it's pretty big in terms of, this is not just a
Yeah.
token. This is not just NFTs. It's a conglomerate that's trying to bring in gaming and the metaverse as well.
Yeah, well, the gaming, outside the licensing deals is a whole nother animal that, that you can open up, it sounds like, down the road. But just, moving into that whole realm of working with maybe some of these larger brands and these companies, that's not just US centric. I mean, that's US, that's Canada, that's many, many countries as well. So the potential there to really expand from an investor base, I think is super, super advantageous. I like that a lot. That's really cool. And I'm excited to see what happens there. I'm going to take a break for a minute, and I want to let some of my team maybe ask some questions here. I'm going to kind of marinate a little bit on this. I know I have a couple more, but really good stuff, Kyle. I think that you know what you're talking about from in cannabis, just from the things that you said. And I've had other meetings in the crypto space with folks, and you can just tell that they're not seasoned. So I really do appreciate just that experience that's there. I can feel it, and I know it's there and it's real. So thank you for that. But at this time, let me open the floor up. I'd like to
Yeah,
invite.
and Taylor, let me just say, I'd love to talk cannabis with you on another call sometime.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're going to connect 1000%. But yeah, at this point, let me open the floor up. If any of my team here, core team, or deal flow, if y'all have any questions, please ask.
Yeah, and
So
I just also want to make clear, we have Riley and Rob, Dr. Destructo, on here as well. Riley's our main developer, and they're open for questions as well as me.
sweet.
So, hey guys, it's Michael. So I have a question. I guess that would be more related to the developers. Given that you guys are launching on ETH, I guess this is like a two-part question. One, why did you choose Ethereum? You know, we all know the story behind the gas fees and the transaction speed. So why did you choose Ethereum to be your network? And then what are you looking to do as you continue to scale out to mitigate the amount of transaction fees that will be occurring and the rate and speed of which those transactions occur?
Riley, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So can I just confirm my mic's working on it?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So I think there's a couple of things there. Not all of it's a technical basis, so I certainly understand where you're coming from on the gas fees. Obviously, that's a bit much higher cost than anything else.
It's really hard for me to hear you, Riley, with all that background.
Okay, sorry. Just yeah, okay. So what I'm thinking, so really we push Ethereum is, well, it's obviously the original chain, the original smart contract chain, and still by far the most popular. Yes, there are obviously others such as the smart chain and the like, and they obviously have their own benefits and drawbacks. Okay, I might actually, just because I've got such bad background noise, I might hand this one over to Buddy. Okay, and I'll just because I'm in a shopping center, I can't really get a good connection.
Yeah, Buddy, can you
I'll
answer
just
that? His
talk through
connection's
Buddy.
bad.
Yeah, so so with the Ethereum blockchain, me and Riley are both experienced on that one. So the gas fees and everything like that is subjective, obviously, to the network congestion and everything like that. So we're gonna we picked Ethereum for a reason because that's what we're familiar with. I mean, obviously, with the BSC chain and everything like that, it's not much different to write a contract or an ecosystem within that, but we prefer Ethereum. So when it comes to the NFTs and everything like that, we have a plan in place to stop the gas wars. If you're familiar with NFTs like me, which I'm pretty familiar with them, I was in Sneaky Vampire Syndicate and a couple other ones. So we will have an anti-gas event, which will let people get their NFTs, and then they will have a window of opportunity, say 12 to 24 hours, to be able to mint them and make it so that they don't have to suffer from the gas prices. Because if you're wearing crypto the past 6 to 8 months, gas fees, especially for NFTs, are almost up to like 1 Ethereum. So we have plans in place to mitigate that. And we also, as far as it comes with our token, we will launch at a time. And we dictate this time, there's not much going on. We'll make it so that people will not have to pay too much in gas. It really all depends on really how much you want to pay, because when you're looking at gas fees and everything like that, I mean, you could pick slow, fast, or fastest, or if you're more advanced and you want to use advanced GUI or whatever, it's ultimately up to the user what they want to make or what they want to use. Sorry.
Michael, did that answer your question?
Yes, I definitely appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I'll go ahead and pass on to the next.
I have
Okay.
a quick question.
Oh, go ahead, Jason.
Now, oh, sorry. Now, me personally, when I hear play to earn, I kind of cringe. There's a lot of projects using P2E as a selling point or as a money grab, and most of those projects usually die out before they even take off. Um, what sets you guys apart from these P2Es, or what do you guys plan on doing to make sure that your game is actually launched and helps bring volume to your project? And also, is there anything that you guys have in mind with this play to earn game to kind of like say your daily players say, oh, maybe I should go buy some more tokens to help further me advance into your play to earn game?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Jason, and I agree with you 100% that most tokens are riding on the play to earn game as their knight in shining armor of the project. Whereas us, the play to earn game is something, or it's actually grow to earn. So with that said, I can't release too many details in the game. But what our plan is basically the game is not the pinnacle of the project. The game is one of many arms of the project that will be integrated into the metaverse. So the metaverse and the NFTs are really our main focus right now, as well as the licensing and creating a product in the blockchain that mimics the real world. So turning a physical product into a digital product and then eventually tying the two together. That's really what this project is about. So I just want to make it clear for everybody the game is going to be awesome. The metaverse is going to be even better, but they'll all be integrated into each other. And what we plan on doing is also releasing, what are called, I guess, mini games. So doing smaller games that people can play to up their ranks or to um, basically increase the rarity of their NFT or do certain things that will benefit them. So it might not be necessarily in let's say one of the games. It might not be grow to earn, but it will be a game that you can play that will up your status in the metaverse, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay,
Kyle.
my question is,
Oh,
doing a game, it's pretty expensive, and I wanted to know how much developer you have in it, and what is the past experience in terms of game development, or even for the metaverse one.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have three gamers on the team. That one of them is a professional gamer. He was and is extremely well connected within that community, as well as many other gaming communities. With that said, it's going to be part of the metaverse development. So it's not going to be a hey, we're developing the game separate from the metaverse. It'll be all in one. And we'll announce more details as to who we're working with on the metaverse and on the game later down the road.
Thank you.
I have a question. Hey there.
Yeah.
Kyle. So the game is off in some later phase. How is this a metaverse? What does the metaverse consist of at launch? Is it just people in a 3D space growing weed, or what exactly makes it a metaverse?
So the metaverse will be released at a certain holder count once the token hits a certain holder count. Now, with that said, the metaverse will be taking what exists in the regular cannabis world and putting it into the metaverse, into what we call the cannaverse. Now, the cannaverse will be basically a conglomerate of, if with our plans going forward, we'll want to do licensing. So one of our plans in the metaverse is to create a digital imprint and representation of, let's say, MedMen dispensary in Denver. So you'll be in the metaverse and you can go into the dispensary and it would be the exact same as it would be in real life. And the NFTs from MedMen will be on the shelf, as NFTs that you could go buy in the metaverse. And that's what Buddy was touching on about a gas-free NFT marketplace. That's something that we're working towards, is basically creating a marketplace that you can buy your NFTs and not have to spend gas. And that'll be integrated into the metaverse. So we're to basically answer your question, we're creating a representation in the digital world of what exists in the physical world, and the products in the dispensaries will be NFTs.
Okay.
And that's just the dispensary side, and that's not even going into the grow, breeding, or extraction.
Okay, so staying with the dispensary example. So you have a licensing deal with a particular dispensary. You go into the store in the Metaverse, you buy whatever, edibles, an NFT of edibles. What's the relationship between that and their physical product in the real
So
world?
that's a great question. And I've actually come up with a somewhat to an answer to that over the past week. So you can do it two ways. You can either tie the NFT to a physical product, or you can tie a physical product to an NFT.
Right.
So the way that you're saying it, it would be more of hey, I'm coming in to redeem what I've already paid for.
Mhm.
But it would be a different structure on the sales side. So the buy and sells from OpenSea. So if I'm selling an NFT, the proceeds would have to go to MedMen if they're buying the NFT and then going to redeem, their eighth of cannabis. Let's just say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
actually, I was
it's
wondering
kind
if
of a
it would be
two-way
a.
street there.
That's what I was going to say. I was hoping you'd say it was more of a two-way street. Okay. That it could go in either direction.
Yep, totally. I'm glad you asked that. It's a great clarification.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Kyle, I'm back.
Awesome.
And your team, how many people are actually on the team? That's generally like the first question I asked, but it slipped because we're talking about cannabis and yeah. So can you just give me a breakdown of like how many people are on the team that you can share?
Yeah, so right now we have mainly five people. I kind of consider Riley and Buddy to be a conglomerate since they're a group of developers, just two people. We also have other people on the team that we're considering adding to the team who have added tremendous value. So if we decide to do that, they'll be added to the website and on the docs list as well.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I have so many thoughts. I don't have questions. It's like when you say licensing, I get it. And I just think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the licensing part with a lot of these, let's say larger brands and MSOs and just anybody in that space that holds a lot of merit. Like you're really, A-list crowd, we'll call it that. That when we say two-way street, I really feel like there's so much profit share in branding that can be made and attracted for new investors, right? Or even users. So to me, this can be really creative. And you've already answered me on that is, that's the intention is to create those rev streams with those folks. Who is, the person on the team that actually does that?
Probably me, honestly. I'm the one who's connected. I'm the leader of the team right now. I'm not on the contract side, but just on the team development, bringing everyone together side. So when it comes to this whole project, we're trying to bring cannabis, but we're also trying to bring cannabis. So with these licensing deals, we want to educate people who don't know about crypto, what Ethereum is and how to buy and sell tokens and things like that. So education is a big part of our process as well with the licensing and basically, helping promote crypto within the cannabis space and vice versa.
Absolutely. And you think about the marketing aspect to that. Yeah, and to that question, I know Tanner on our team was wanting that answered. That is a good question. So in terms of that, demographic and what you're going for, kind of what is the thoughts there, right? Like who are you targeting?
Yeah, and that's a good question, right? Because there might be people who are foreign, where cannabis isn't legal, who might love this because it gives them a glimpse into a world that they've never seen, and enlightens them, or they just happen to stumble upon it and think it looks cool, or there's a lot of education on the crypto side and on the cannabis side, so it goes both ways. And there will be a lot of marketing done if we do, when we do licensing deals with dispensaries and with other companies to try to merge both spaces a little bit. Because I think they're both still kind of like, a little bit underground to a lot of people who don't understand it. If you live in a space in a state that cannabis isn't legal, you're probably going to have a skewed view of it versus a state that where it's recreationally legal and you can go buy it in a dispensary. It's the same with crypto. People have heard horror stories and they have no idea what this space is about, or they think, oh, it's fake money, you can't take it out. So there's a lot of education on both sides to be done.
Yeah, right on. A lot of the same things I say. It's a funny story. I even made a video of pulling out money one time just to prove it was real.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
that same thing. No, I totally get it. And another thing, I'm thinking of as, let's say, I'm come from the cannabis space. So let's say right now I'm at my place in Dallas, Texas, where cannabis is still, illegal on a state, from the state aspect. Obviously every state is different. So being on the metaverse and, interacting with NFTs and things like that, it's not illegal for me to own Granddaddy Perp and a little bit of OG and some banana.
Yeah.
Right? Like NFTs. So I mean, if I'm in Texas, I can have those NFTs and do that. So, for folks that are maybe in other states, that could play a factor in learning, or when states go legal, I could see that really, formatting a path there. For business is the way I'll put it with your token. As states do become legal, I think that there's a lot of exposure there. And then my last, thought question, I guess, really just more of a thought and direct question. Is there any plans to really, start tapping in with the lack of banking and leveraging maybe cryptocurrency in the DeFi sector to start getting involved in some capacity with these payments? Or are you just trying to stay totally away from the payment processing side of it?
That's something that it completely ties into the goal here. It might be what some people call a pipe dream, but I really think that there is an opportunity to merge cannabis and crypto in the financial sector as well. So not just NFTs, not just the metaverse, not just gaming, not just licensing and bringing physical products to the blockchain, but also in payments, and facilitating dispense or license facility to license facility payments, especially. So it might not even be consumer, to business to start. It might just be business to business.
Copy that. Great. I'm good on my questions right now. I really
I
like it.
had a
Yeah,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go
So
for
I
it.
had a question. I'm a little bit new to the whole metaverse side, right? But so I've been hearing about a lot of these projects. So let's say in this cannaverse, right? So I am in there and I grow, whatever. I get my female, my male, I get another NFT. Now, can those only be used in this cannaverse? So, because my thought is, if there are other ones out there, like let's say, a metaverse of a carnival or a mob thing, or other types of games or verses out there that might or could use this as part of theirs, right? So I don't know if these metaverses can connect. Like if I'm in a mob metaverse and I want to start selling bud, can I go into your metaverse, buy it, and then is it transferable into a new one? Do you need to get partnerships with those people in order to do that? Can you basically can you expand outside of the metaverse to other ones with your?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. So right now, as the space is, we'll have to create our own metaverse. Now, our NFTs will be, basically interactable into other people's metaverses. Now, the whole thing with it is that it will have to be a partnership. At this moment, there isn't like a universal metaverse. I mean, there's a few games that exist, but there isn't a universal metaverse that you can just plug any NFT into at the current moment. Now, the other concern that we'd have with that is that, are the NFTs that are in our metaverse or our NFTs in another metaverse compatible? So all of our stuff is 3D, and very realistic. I mean, photorealistic, almost hyper realistic. With that said, it would have to be the right setting and the right environment for our NFTs to be able to, flow well. A lot of the metaverse stuff right now is 2D, and it's specifically 2D bird's eye view. So you'll be looking at things, from a bird's eye view, and it's not realistic whatsoever. It might change over the next couple of years, specifically with Facebook changing to Meta. So I'm very excited to see what rolls out on that end. But as of right now, just to top off and answer your question, our NFTs will only be able to be interactable in our metaverse to start. However, we're looking into opportunities to integrate them into other ones as long as their environment's compatible.
Got it. Is there anything for the future? Because I know you said not right now. Because so my thought process is right. So there's these niches or niches. I still don't know how to pronounce that word correctly. So everyone says it different. I'm not quite sure what is the correct one. So let's say my thing is Wall Street, right? Or my thing is the mob, or my thing is carnival. That's what I really, really like. I'm not into necessarily growing cannabis, but I like to smoke it, and I like the after product. I feel like if I want to stay in this metaverse, but I also want to use your product because it's great, I feel like that would be a good revenue stream to be able to kind of cross metaverses if it's even possible from a technology side. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, because then
yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's universal compatibility is what we're going for, really. I mean, I'd love to see our NFTs in every metaverse that exists. It's just right now with the way that the tokens are and the way that things are being developed, most NFTs are ERC 721 tokens, which are you can create a metaverse that those can interact in. It's just right now it hasn't been done. So yeah, I think that's an amazing idea, and I really look forward to the point to where we get there.
Awesome, thanks.
I have a question for you. Do you also have plans on making this so that you can open up like education wise? So since this isn't legal everywhere, there's been a lot of information that's been coming out more so that people can realize that marijuana is actually medically important for a lot of people. Well, it helps with anxiety. I mean, there's been videos that I've seen that like someone who has Parkinson's, and you see them like shaking and they smoke some marijuana or take it in some form, and you can just physically see how much it helps. And so I'm just wondering if you have some thoughts on how you want to like maybe try to educate people so that it can be more accepted.
Yeah, totally. And as I told Taylor earlier, education is probably on the foundation with transparency from both the crypto standpoint and cannabis, because both spaces need to be educated on each other. Now, speaking of educating on cannabis, one of the things that's in our roadmap that we are working on, timing and releasing is an educational TV, broadcast. So whether it's Exotix TV or it's a YouTube channel or something along those lines, it will be catered towards education. And our motto is merging cannabis and crypto. So educating on the crypto side and cannabis side. So having a show that's basically a 50-50 of each, that people can learn and people can get together by being in the same spaces.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I see a question in the chat here from the David, and the question is there any method for returning revenue from licensing to holders? And as of right now, that's incorporated as part of our token, and we're working on rolling out the plans for that. But basically, the way that it's going to go is the token will in some way reflect to the holders through licensing. So we'll release the details on how that happens, but that's actually something that I've been thinking about, David. So thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, I was just about to excuse me, and chime in and ask for him there. On the flip side of that, though, just going towards the launch now, we're looking at tomorrow, correct? So the folks that are the devs, that's going to be Buddy and Riley, correct?
Yeah, Riley's the head dev. Buddy is on the team with Riley, but at this moment, I don't think that Buddy can dox to certain people, but he works for I can't really say who he works for, but he works for an upper echelon intelligence. So I can't. He's one of the only people who can't dox to the public.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
he is the only person.
No worries. Yeah. And I get the whole, anonymous thing in crypto, for folks that are on that side of it totally. And to that point, right? In terms of the launch, do you hold the keys to the deployer? I mean, who's actually, in full control? Is it a multi-sig?
Let me answer that, Taylor. You ready?
Yeah.
So cool. So me and Riley are gonna deploy, launch, and control the contract until we redistribute the ownership to Kyle.
To our multi-sig.
Yeah, to the multi-sig. Sorry. I got like a million messages right now. So I got like Riley messaging me and him.
It's fine.
So so we will handle the launch and everything, the gas, everything like that. Get it good. And we will renounce it to the multi-sig so that everybody will be able to see this on the blockchain. So no worries there.
Got it. So essentially, you and Riley will launch the deployer contract
Yep.
that has raised money, then renounce that into Kyle's name.
Yep.
Or not into
Well,
the
no,
multi-sig.
sorry, not Kyle's, into the multi-sig.
Yeah. And on that multi-sig, how many people are on that multi-sig?
As of right now, we have 3 of the 5 team members on the multi-sig.
That's 3 is a good number for it. So yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel for how the launch is going to go, whose hands is it in.
Yeah.
Essentially, starting out, Buddy, Riley, that's in your hands on that launch. It's passed over to Kyle from a back end standpoint.
Be relatively quick. I'd say probably at least 10 to 20 minutes, and then it'll be out of our hands.
Yeah. And then you pass that over to Kyle. Now, Kyle,
the multi-sig, yeah.
Yeah, is the contract going to be fully renounced after launch, or
I don't believe so. I don't
No,
believe so.
So the contract is not going to be renounced just for the fact that we are thinking about the future and going ahead, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna so we might want to do a swap, or we might want to do the only problem is when you renounce a contract, if you're trying to do more than just launch a coin and let it do whatever, if you do that and renounce it, then you are stuck, and you either have to do 2 things. You have to pull liquidity or sell to whatever you got to do, and you have to relaunch. So we're not going to renounce, just for the fact that if wherever the community decides, and this is going to be a community decision, we're not going to be the ones that decide this. Our community is going to be the one who's going to decide this. Depending on where they want to go with all of this, we are not going to renounce just in case. And for some people that could be scary, this and that, but let me remind everyone that the admin team is doxed. We're not going to pull liquidity or whatever, but we need to ensure that we have control over the contract so that we can edit it in certain ways that you can't do if you renounce it.
Yep. If I could just say something, most of the most successful projects are not, they're not. So
yeah,
that's
that
kind
too.
of that.
Look at Shiba Inu, for instance.
Look at Chin too. They wouldn't be able to be doing some of the stuff they're doing if they were not renounced.
Yeah,
right
too. Yeah, that's a little bit newer. Yep, totally right.
Like the L2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Taylor, we also, I don't think I've mentioned this, but we have our liquidity will be locked for 1 year as well.
Yeah, and I was going to actually, ask that question as well in the liquidity. So lock 1 year, and then after liquidity, I'm sorry, not after liquidity, on that liquidity, what is it going to be at launch? Like, what are you guys starting with?
That will be announced probably tomorrow. We're just finalizing the liquidity that's going into the pool, but you guys will know before launch.
Okay, got it.
Kyle, quick question on the liquidity as well. For that, are you guys funding the liquidity yourself? Are you guys Do you have like seed investors to provide the liquidity? Like, how are you guys going about with the liquidity, and the individuals that are providing liquidity, are they receiving tokens?
Yeah, so what we're doing is the team members are providing the seed investment for the liquidity pool, and only the seed investors will get a certain amount of tokens. Now, those tokens will be locked. 50% of those tokens will be locked for 3 months. So, we're basically trying to reward the people who are putting, their money where their mouth is, but also make it to where they're not getting an unfair amount, and at the same time are able to, stay with the project because their tokens are locked.
Now, is it 100% lock, 50%? Like, what's
It's
your
50% for 3 months.
Okay, so obviously you don't want your investors to ever feel like they can't collect something. If those individuals decide to dump their tokens and the coin's doing really well, but they decide to empty their 50% bag, what happens with the rest of the 50% bag, and who are the individuals that control those specific wallets?
Yeah. So within the team, we have all come to an agreement that if anybody's going to sell, they need to run it by the team first. So even if it's 0.1 Ethereum, you need to run it by the team first. If you're selling 1 Ethereum, 2 Ethereum, it doesn't matter. You have to run it by the team. Now, if you don't run it by the team and we find out you sold, all of your 50% of your tokens that are locked are then forfeited and split between the rest of the team. So, basically we're punishing people who, it's fine to take profit, but be transparent, have communication. We're approaching this from an extremely responsible standpoint, and it's okay to take profits, but it's not okay to, get on the team or be part of this core team and sell, more than a couple ETH of tokens within the first couple weeks. It's not okay. We're for longevity. This is really a longevity project. This isn't, a moonshot. We're not looking to, do 1,000x in one day. We're really here for the long term.
Well, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the coin. I'd love to see the coin do well. I'd love to see it go up. But we're here for a safe launch. We're here for a fair launch. We're here for the longevity, of this project, and not here just for a quick buck.
Gotcha.
I mean,
the people we vetted and brought into this as seed investors are people that we know are holders. So,
well, I think it's very wise and very, very maturity forward of you guys in terms of mentality, because you see many projects with their seed investors essentially shaming people for wanting to take profits, or telling people like, you absolutely cannot sell, like you'll be punished kind of situation. But the fact that you guys are allowing everyone to make adult rational decisions and to respect the project and the chart, that gains a lot of respect for me, because you're under the realization that it's natural for people to collect money, but it's not okay to be selfish and wreck a chart. So I have a lot of respect for you guys allowing individuals to really show their true colors and who they are by giving them that 50% upfront.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we care about our team members, so we do want them to make money. We just don't want them to, stray away from the team. It's, all the team members know if we're doing very well and it starts to tank and you feel like you want to sell, you need to bring it up. And if we say no, you need to respect that decision. And we would say no in an extreme case. It's not like we're the profit police, but at the same time, we do respect the project, we respect the team, and it's a fairness thing for everybody.
Right. I get it. It's prudent to these projects, especially in the early stages. I mean, hell, in any business, right? I mean, it's not like when we go out and like what I would just call the real world, even though I hate doing that, and say I get into a private round you know, on a startup company, you know, we're not bailing out in the first 3 hours or the first 3 weeks. You know, that's essentially me, you know, seeding an investment of say 100,000 into a company. And, you know, I'm looking at that for the longevity, right? So the mentality is backwards in crypto. So I totally get where Michael's, you know, coming from with that, you know, point of view, and then you addressing that in that way makes sense. And it's appreciated too, because we know just from seeing so many projects and how detrimental that can be at the end of the day. So glad that you you know, have your antennas up for that one and are prepared in case of a, you know, situation.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely, you know, before we considered launch, this stuff had to be ironed out. So it's definitely like, you know, the main focus is getting this right, and you know, not rushing things, and not making decisions that are impulsive.
Got it. Well, look, we've covered a lot of ground. I think that this has been a fabulous AMA. Can't really wait to just put it together and re-listen to it. I know that, like I said, we've covered so much. I want to do it again sometime. I think let's see tomorrow what the launch does. And then I'd like to offer you guys like a slot to come back and let's, you know, catch up and do like a, you know, where we started and where we're at, right? I think that can be really cool. I know that on your agenda on the roadmaps is live AMAs being, you know, on, you know, camera and things like that. That aligns with a lot what we do, obviously, where we're all docs here at the Angels. So just wanted to slide that invitation to you and really wish you the best of luck to you and your team tomorrow. I personally will participate in the launch. I'd buy everything anyways, but I really think, Kyle, that you did a great job highlighting the project to the best of what you could give out at the time. And I know privacy with cannabis crypto when you're pre-launch, it's, you know, kind of keep things really close to the chest, so I can relate. But again, I think you did a wonderful job explaining that. You guys have a great community so far from what I've seen, just doing, you know, basic due diligence. But yeah, I'm ready to dive in, really take a deeper look at everything. I'll probably go ahead after this call. I'm going to shoot you a message. We can connect on offline. And, you know, obviously we can go from there with questions, things like that, recommendations. But I think you're onto something here. I really like the NFTs. The whole metaverse, the way that's going to play in, like you said, with the licensing deals, I see opportunity there, and I see a longer vision and not something that's just a fly by night. So props to you, my friend, and let's get it tomorrow. I'm really excited for you and your team. I think that this could be good.
Yeah, you know, thank you so much for the kind words, Taylor. You know, me and my team, we really appreciate it. We've been working really hard, uh, trying to get this off the ground and make sure launch, you know, is ready to go, and we have enough team members in the Telegram, or not team members, but, you know, members from the community. And with that said, we'd love to come back and do another AMA with you guys. I think that, you know, DeFi Angels is one of the best communities in crypto, period. And what you guys are doing aligns with what we're trying to do in terms of transparency, doxing, fair launches, you know, and getting people comfortable in this space. I think that that's something that we can all align on. And, you know, cannabis does bring a lot of people together, and crypto brings a lot of people together. I've met a lot of people in this space who are, you know, some of the best people that I know. And I'm talking about in crypto. And I'd love to bring, you know, some of the people that I have from cannabis also into crypto, and kind of bridge that gap that currently exists between, you know, people who love cannabis but don't know anything about crypto. So I really look forward to coming back here. And if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to ask, and my DMs are open for any of you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and thank you. And I think that bridge that you're talking about is happening. It's just something that I noticed, you know, being in that crowd on the cannabis side of investing, and, you know, obviously just, you know, running with them. It's a quick migration. You know, they're seeing the profits, and I'll close out on this. Cannabis and crypto. It's like unicorns and glitter, my friend. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
They
Yes,
go
sir.
together so well. So, anyways, thank you, Kyle. We're gonna follow up here shortly with you with just the direct audio over this AMA, so you can go ahead and just share that with your community. Jess here on the call is our CMO. She's gonna get the graphic buttoned up. So we have the recording on there, have that done. Just give us a little time for processing. We'll have that uploaded to our YouTube, and we'll share that with you as well. And if we can, Jess, let's get them over just the actual file for that graphic so they can post and use that for their YouTube or maybe any other platform that they want to post that on. Okay. But anyhow, yeah, thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate it. Dr. Destructo, Riley, Buddy Small, thank you all for hopping on tonight. Again, I'm very excited for this. So thank you guys.
Yeah, me too. Thank you again, Taylor. And I really look forward to, collaborating in the future and being each other's synergy here. I think that you guys are the best. So thank you again.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to be a resource, my friend. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.